And welcome everybody. And this is the top of the hour. So we're going to get started on our master call today. And whether you're in the audience live, which is really exciting, I've been visiting with some of the people ahead of time, or you're watching this on a replay, welcome. Thank you for listening in. And I'm excited to share with you. I shared a little bit on the pre-call of how this kind of came about, but I'll tell you that I feel I was nudged, and you can watch the pre-call report if you want to hear the whole story, but I feel like that I'm divinely guided, and that sometimes when I think I'm done or I'm going away, things turn around and it's just not that way. I'm still here. So thank you for being here with me today. People are still arriving, so don't forgive me when I avert my eyes over there so I can click them in. But I wanted to, some of you, if you would, well, I don't have the group photo up right now, but many of you have expressed to me that you've known me for a long time. Some of you less time, some of you more time. Certainly way back in the very beginning, Patty Walters, for example, she was there, and Lena was been there. And many of you have been following me for a while from the Attracting Perfect Customers days. And so I believe, as you read in the emails, everybody is familiar that my business partner and husband, Alan Hickman, he's joining us from the other side today. I invited him to join in. And so sometimes he pushes thoughts. I swear it's him pushing a thought into my head. And so he might chime in that way. But so in 2017, after being in business, doing Attracting Perfect Customers for since the early 2000s or the late 2000s, when the official start of the business was, my first business partner and co-author that helped me write the book, Attracting Perfect Customers, she and I started the company. Her name was Stacy, and we both lived in Houston, Texas. She had a marketing background. I had a sales background. And we both quit our corporate gigs about the same time. And we ran into each other and decided, you know what? We make a good compatible team. And we started to offer ourselves as a team into companies, her marketing perspective, my sales perspective. And then we came up with a way to teach people how to get more clarity about a perfect customer for their business. And we started teaching workshops. Well, we were on a shoestring. We didn't have a website. We didn't have a business card. We didn't have an internet. All we had was a day timer, if anybody remembers that, and a calendar. And so she and I would meet, and we would review what we called a strategic attraction plan, which was something that gave us clarity about who we wanted to attract. And we would review that, and then we'd write on the calendar a date of when we wanted to do our workshop. Phone would start ringing, referrals came in. Every workshop, without an internet, without a business card, without anything, but just creating the intention and putting out the vibration, and the rest is history. We had a free conference room at the bank that we banked at that said, yeah, you can use our conference room and have about seats for 20, 25 people. We filled it every single time. And so we decided to write the book, and then we were mentored by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert Allen. We spoke to large groups that they were giving events at. And so the Attracting Perfect Customer story lived and took hold, and it was brand new in those days and times to talk about law of attraction in business. And law of attraction, and how we looked at it, is just simply like attracts like. And so if I like something, it makes sense that somebody else would like it too. So what do I like? Start there. It's very different from traditional marketing. So we were just creating something brand new, and people were like, wow, I didn't know I could do that in business. I thought I had to kind of take what I got, I remember one lady I was sitting talking to at the bank, and I said, I was making out, I think I was opening an account. She said, perfect customers. What is that? I would like some perfect customers. So I told her the concept of it, and she said, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. I work at a bank. And anyway, that was the mentality. And we started to shift that mentality by sharing with people that, yes, it does make a difference. You work at a bank, it doesn't matter. You're still you, and you can draw to you and learn from the people you're drawing towards you. So that's kind of like the fast track history of what it's been happening. Stacy did go in a different direction about 4 years later, and Alan Hickman, who was a customer at one time, and that's a whole story. Just we could do a workshop on that. I was married when I met him. He was dating somebody else. I wasn't looking, he wasn't looking, we just met. And then fast forward a few years later, our situations had changed. And when he came back to Houston to take a review of one of the programs, um, the angels sang, let's say, and my heart opened. I'm like, wow. And I felt very divinely guided. I had a very powerful experience from the divine, that in a healing session that I was having for myself, or receiving, the message came through that Alan was brought to me to be my divine counterpart, because we had a big mission to serve. And so that's really the principle of our whole relationship, and what made it work is that we were both committed to each other, but also committed to our purpose that we were brought together for. And so we had a wonderful journey with that for about 13 years. And then in 2017, I guess he went on to fulfill another mission, because he left his body and the planet. He died suddenly after some heart issues, and went on to greener pastures, perhaps. I think he was not happy after the heart failed, and that it was actually kind of a blessing for me, in that he didn't stick around for a long, long illness. But it left me, when he left, it left me just was like in a quandary. What do I do now? Who am I now? And then I didn't even realize I was single. Social Security pointed that out to me. I got a letter from Social Security saying, well, now that you're single, da 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 da. And I'm like, it hadn't even occurred to me, because I was so in a I'm married mindset. So there began the journey of learning to find myself as a single woman. So, what brought me to you today to discuss this subject of divine dating blueprint is that in the search, both personally to meet someone, because it just felt to me like I needed a partner. I'm just used to that. And so I started on a dating journey, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a minute. But I also was trying to redo the business that had been all about attracting perfect customers, and it just didn't work the same. I wasn't the same. I didn't have the same energy to do it. And then we had a COVID seasons, mixed into all of that. So I even took a very expensive mastermind for a whole year. The whole year, I'm like, how do I marry attracting perfect customers with my new message, which was going to be sacred synchronicity? And I'm like, I can't get it. I just can't get it. Anyway, I, finished that. I still wasn't any further along after the mastermind ended a year later. And so in 2022, I decided I'm just walking. I'm leaving this business behind of attracting perfect customers. And I started kind of dabbling into creating a website for Sacred Synchronicity. And I just looked at the time. It's 11:11. That's an angel number. Anyway, so I was creating this website for sacred synchronicity, and as a sacred synchronicity would occur, a friend of mine invited me to go to Morocco. And I said, yes, why not? I'm not working. I'm not doing anything. And this is a sacred synchronicity. And I went for 3 weeks. Best thing I've ever done in my life. I left behind a whole lot of baggage on the Sahara Desert. I don't know what all the Sahara Desert, I heard that from some of the people that live in Morocco, that people have reported, that when you go to the Sahara and you spend the night on the Sahara, which was one night, you leave behind a lot of your old beliefs and baggage and stories. And I felt like a new person. So when I came back is when I decided I would try again with the message of sacred synchronicity. And then how many of you don't have to raise your hand, but I know AI is a big topic, right? I'd heard about it. I kind of got an understanding of what AI was like. But it wasn't until a friend of mine, Mark Porteous, said, well, I could show you how to use it. It's easy. It's a free program. He showed me AI and I started playing around with it. And I'm like, well, maybe it could help me with strategic attraction and sacred synchronicity. So I plugged into the AI some questions. And guess what? AI resolved what I had been trying to resolve for several years. That if you take an attracting perfect customer plan, or what we called strategic attraction, and you marry it together with sacred synchronicity, and it had a baby, it would be called the divine blueprint. And that's what I learned. And so lo and behold, I was like beside myself. Divine blueprint, divine blueprint. That's exactly what I wanted to explore. And so I delved into that a little bit last fall. I taught a class on it. Some of you were there for that class. And then I noticed I wasn't quite ready to go forward with it again. And like, here I am at the beginning of the year. I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? And that's when I'm just in a conversation with a friend. Spirit, or whoever's out there guiding me, popped another idea in my head called Divine Dating Blueprint. And bells went off. Because I like to build and share about where I am and what I'm doing and what I'm learning. And that's really one area that I've learned a lot in. I was telling somebody else that's very knowledgeable in astrology. I'm not an astrologist, I'm just a dabbler with it. But if you looked at my chart, of the 13 planets, 7 of them are in my house of relationship, the 7th house. So I learned through relationship. And that to me is why I've been so much about, attracting perfect customers, all about building relationship. And Divine Dating Blueprint is all about building relationship as well. So the relationship that I'm going to share about today that we're building here is the one that we build with ourself. And that's what the Divine Dating Blueprint is really about, is before I can build a relationship with another person, this person needs developing. But I found if you're in a place of being single and you'd like to meet that perfect partner, getting ready to date is no one's talking about that, but there was a lot of things that I learned in hindsight that I wasn't ready for. And so after being married for so many years, I thought you start there looking for a husband or a wife, and it's not true. Really, it starts way back. I'm starting at square one now that I'm newly single within the last 6 years. And so I'm not the same person I was back then. So I like to say that I'm building a relationship with me now. like who I am now. So that's what we're really talking about. And that now can be at any time. Like it's, if we were in our 20s, I don't think anybody here is, but you might be. If we were back then, we might be looking at, we want to have a family, we want to have children, etc. We want to have a career. But I just had my 70th birthday last year. I don't want those things. I already have a family. I already had kids. I have grandkids. I have one of them is getting married, in June. I could have grandkids before the year's over. So that it's a different one. And I know some of you who are joining the call today are in long-term marriages. And we taught, like what better to refresh than to redate my husband or my wife. Bring back some of the things that I did when I was dating. So maybe that might be a reason that you're listening in today. So why am I doing this? Because, really I could drift into the sunset and not put myself out there. But, truthfully, I'm a Leo by the astrological sun sign. And I do have a purpose to share with people a message. I do feel like that's part of my divine.
Yes.
Who said that? Anyway, so
Is there an outage in my area?
we've got somebody. Let me see who that is. Somebody needs to mute. Anyway, somebody mute that might be asking about an outage in your area. Thank you.
Streaming.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me just see if I can.
Tony isn't muted.
Okay, Tony is now muted. Thank you.
Terrence isn't muted either.
All right, I'll do that as well. So I asked you just earlier to write down one thing you'd like to receive out of being here, or maybe to just write down what got you here. And I'd love to hear from people in the audience. You kind of get a gist that I'm here because I feel like it's my divine calling to share this with you. But I also want to just say that here's the wording of what came to me, is that after dating for these last few years, I'm here to raise the whole dating scene to be mindful dating. And for women and men to be conscious, because since COVID made online dating so essential, and now that we're on the other side of that, it's still essential to meet people. I mean, it's nice to meet people in person, but the reality is it's not presenting as enough possibilities. And so there can be a lot of unkind things that people do when they're online, where they forget there's a real person on the other side that they're interacting with. So that's where I am, is I want to bring more mindfulness to dating and bring our consciousness level to a higher vibration, so that when we're interacting with people, we attract kindness, regardless if we're going to ever date again or see each other or go on into the future together. It's still important to remember to date kindly, mindful, and be conscious. That's my whole gig. I want to bring that to the dating world. All right, enough from me. Thank you for listening to all of that. And I'd love to hear from anyone that's willing to share what got you here today. What would you like to receive? Anything in that vicinity. Just love to hear your voice today.
I'll share. I have to get off in 10 minutes and I'm so upset that I have to get off, but so
Okay.
I almost forgot to look at the time, because I was all wrapped in what you were saying. So I've known you for, I don't even know how many years, what year it was. I think it was kind of at the beginning of when you were starting Strategic Attraction. I was at your retreat
Yeah.
in New Mexico.
Yep.
And I still have my cards, my perfect customer, but I did it for everything, perfect friend, perfect, all kinds of things. And um, so when I saw that you were going to do something, I just had to be on, and I'm married, but I'm one of the people that was thought, oh, a new spark, a fresh sort of beginning, inspiration. And also, I'd like to tell other people, I have friends who are single and not doing so well that way. Um, so I just love that you're here again, Jan, and you're doing something. So yeah, I don't even know how to explain it, but I just felt like I had to be here. So
Awesome.
yeah,
I love that. I
yeah.
love that. And I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. That's
Welcome.
inspiring for me. You're cheering me on. Let's see, Dorothy. You're mute. You're muted. Can you unmute?
There we go.
Got it.
I'm recently split from a 2.5 year relationship, and I the anyway, uh, I I just wanted to see if it was even worth trying to date. And I've respected you. I bought your book. I didn't stay in contact with you from the perfect customer, but I've always supported you energetically, if you want to call it that. And that's what I'm looking for, my tribe now. The one thing the relationship did is prove that, and that I don't, that I'm worth more, that I didn't believe how valuable I was, and that I'm worth more, and I need more, and I need to voice what I need.
Yeah.
And so, my whole purpose, I'm in college. I never got to go to college, so I went back to college. And my mantra right now is, who and what am I choosing to grow with? So, if nothing else, I wanted to see what I was doing wrong dating, how I can do it better. And then you're part of my tribe, and I want to support you energetically, whether I'm ever supposed to date again, or if I'm, because I love being single. I didn't need the hell that I didn't need that, you know. So, and I don't call myself single. I just like myself. I'm having a good time. And I'm going to shut up, but I want to listen to what you have to say, see if it's even worth it.
Of course it's worth it. Well, somebody asked, will it be a replay? Absolutely be a replay. Part of dating is healing. And so reframing about dating, I believe that the opportunity, if you'll look at it from that perspective, the opportunity is to meet someone, right? If that's what you want. But there's all kinds of options in dating. And that's part of the clarity that I help people to get. Where am I now? And what do I want now? Do I want a dinner date? Do I want something more? So everything from ground zero to soulmate, marriage partner, etc. But the journey is really what I'm here to help people with.
Okay.
And the healing and all of that. So thank you for sharing and being part of my energy tribe.
I'm there.
And what was
for you.
interesting for me, Dorothy, was that I didn't have a community to refer to, like most of my friends were married or unhappily married, I should say. Some of them were unhappily married. Nobody had, lost a spouse due to death. Some people were older that I revere who aren't into dating at all. So it was kind of like I just made it up along the way. So I always wanted a community. So here's your community. Here's my community.
Yeah,
Let's see, who else would like to share? Lena and then Patty.
yep.
Hello there. Well, I've been wanting to reconnect for a while and have been having you in my mind. And then I see an email come by that, oh, you've done this. I'm like, crap, I have something else scheduled that day. Can't do it. So when I saw this, made sure to put it on my calendar and get in there. I am in a space in my life where a couple of months ago, maybe, I realized that something that has occurred in the last 10 years, let's say, for the first time in my life, I've actually regretted something and felt like I wasted time. Which I know nothing is wasted time, but just the fact that I was there. And it was interesting because when I think this will probably describe it best, is while we were getting ready to start the call, I was shuffling some cards from the Wisdom Oracle, Colette Baron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle. And these are the cards that fell out. There was Loyal Heart, which as a Scorpio with Scorpio and five planets in Scorpio. Yeah, that says a lot about that. Soulmates and Fork in the Road, which is just really interesting with that all.
Yeah.
And then another one, I just picked another one to say, okay, so what's the number one thing I need to think about? And it was Yang, which to me says a lot. Because one of my things is I'm getting back into my feminine, I guess you can say. And so needing to have somebody else, the masculine, coming in. And so just, yeah, looking forward to what today brings and where it goes from there.
Okay. Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's see, Patty. I think you were going to share something.
Okay, Mike, okay. I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
All
Okay,
good.
good. Okay, good. Well, like I can stay away. So yeah, I mean, we've been connected since what, 2000, 2001. Galley copy of the book, so I swear to God. And so, going to a workshop on attracting perfect customers while you're working in the corporate environment of Shell Oil Company at the time was blowing my mind. It's like I just was like turned on my heels. So of course, and then we've become so close recently in last year. It's just been heart opening and amazing. And so my intention that I wrote down was to deepen my connection with myself and healing my heart. Healing my heart is what I've been doing. And I have attracted a man into my life in the past month. So that's been very exciting. So yeah.
I think Patty ought to be leading the class, truthfully. But, anyway, congratulations on all of those. I love that, healing the heart, and I'm happy for you.
I love you. I love you and the work that you're doing.
Thank
And
you.
standing in who you're being, your true self is so inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Cool. All right, so we can share some more. Let's see. Okay, Megan, I see your hands up. Why don't you go ahead?
Sure. So yes, I saw your email and I thought, oh geez, I cannot do that because I had a conflict. And then when I woke up this morning, I was thinking about it and I thought, I'm going to change things around and I'm going to be here because I really wanted to be here for your new venture. Even though it's not new, it's still new. So I thought I just want to be here to support you. So I've been married for 38 years. I was actually married before, and I was married to my first husband for about 10, 12 years. So most of my adult life, I've been in a married relationship. And I've been thinking a lot recently about because after 38 years, and my husband and I are business partners, we've raised a family, we've literally done everything together. And we still enjoy being together. I mean, we have a good time together, but I was just intrigued about how you can bring actual dating back into a relationship that's older. So that's why I'm here.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. Well, here's a few tips that I thought I'd share with you today, because I did tell you in the emails, is today's about getting ready to date. And that's really the niche. And so it doesn't matter if you've been dating all along and you're, a veteran of that, or if you're at square one and maybe you haven't been dating, or you'd like to think about dating. This is a good place to start. And so here's a few things that I think you might want to start thinking about. That what do I want now? Right? What do I want now? I used to want something else in a different part of my life, but now I'm at a new part of my life. I'm not who I was way back then. So what do I want now? So this is where the journey begins, is me getting clear with me. And so just, like you're doing now, listening, hearing from other people, writing some things down, this starts the journey. Because it's like, let's say you and I told you I want to buy a red Mercedes convertible. And you said, oh, cool. What model? I said, oh, it's going to be the ABC model, because I don't know what the models are, but it's going to be an ABC model, and it's going to have, white interior and a convertible top. Oh, cool. And then I go out and I start driving around. Guess what I'm going to see everywhere?
White, yeah.
Red Mercedes convertibles. So what today is about is just getting started to look and see, what do I want? Now, how do we do that? It's everywhere. So I want you to just consider that you are an attraction magnet right now. And I believe that we attract everything, good, bad, and ugly. So the good news is that if I attract something that I really want, yay, yay. But it's also good news if I attract something I don't want. Why would that be? Because if I attract something I don't want, it gives me an opportunity to say, ooh, not that. What is that showing me? Oh, I pulled that in. Why did I attract that? I pulled that in to know what I don't want. And now, so I know what I don't want, let me write down what I do want. So this is the fun game that you just started today. You can start noticing in everyone. You don't even have to go on a date for that. You can just walk out into the world, or get onto a Zoom, or a interaction with family. You can just start to let the world be your observation and research laboratory. What do I want now? And pretty soon what's going to start happening is clear vision. Like, I'll start to notice things. Our noticing button needs to be pushed instead of into the blaming or the judging. Ugh, ugh, I can't believe she does her hair like that. Oh my goodness, I would never do that. So what does that show me? Oh, there's something I want. So everything around you is your creation. You created it just for you. So clarity and focus, that's the name of the game. Let's start there. What do I want now? And then the next piece that I found that was lacking for me in dating was confidence. I felt like you should have seen me on my first coffee date. So I got on Match.com. Okay, this is like 6 months after Alan died. I'd never done this, never been on a dating site, didn't know anything about it. So I just went on and I was a voyeur. I didn't make my profile visible. I just wanted to look. What am I looking at? You know, I'm like, And then I sat up on my bed, my laptop in my lap. I have my two kitties on both sides of me. I'm in my safety, cozy sanctuary of my bedroom. And I'm like, well, what would you do if somebody, one of your clients said, what do I need to do now? I'd say, you need to write what you want. You need to write your attraction plan. And so I started to write what I wanted. And then from there, I've moved it over and I wrote some of that into my profile. But I didn't make my profile visible yet. Okay. I had to go through Thanksgiving, my first Thanksgiving alone. Cried all day long. I was invited in the afternoon to a lunch, and I'd been crying so much, my eyes were just little puffy slits in my face. And it was Thanksgiving night that I went, okay, make that profile visible. I can't just sit at home and cry all the time. There's plenty of time for that, but just push the button. I can take it back if I don't want to. That's the beauty. You can be seen, not be seen. So there I went, deep dive into Match.com, and somebody reached out. What do I do now? Somebody liked me. And so we had there's a little text thing inside of the program. We wrote back and forth, and he invited me to meet for coffee. I'm like, oh, this is the coffee date to talk about. So I called up my girlfriend who was single, and I said, you've done this. Like, what can you tell me? I'm meeting them in an hour. And she said, don't stay longer than an hour. 1 hour, that's it. So I go to the coffee shop, and he's there. And we had a great conversation, back and forth, back and forth. And thought he was kind of interesting. I liked him. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what time is it? And I looked kind of like down at my watch, and I realized it was 10 after. And I went, I have to go. I just blurted out, I have to go. And he was like in mid-sentence, and he's like, like, well, okay. That was my coffee date. So I left and I went home, and of course, you call your girlfriend and she said, blah, 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 and I said, what should I do now? And I'm like, it's kind of embarrassed because I was so blurted out, I have to go. It's an hour and 10 minutes. But long story short, we started to date, and then we dated for quite a while. But guess what? I didn't really know what I wanted. I was freshly a widow. I just wanted normalcy. And I dove into a relationship way too soon. Well, have I learned my lessons? So there's the first thing, is how to gain confidence. Go ahead and date, and you're going to learn what you need to learn. It's not going to be pretty sometimes. It's not going to be fun sometimes. And then sometimes if you just have a great conversation with somebody, consider that a success. But this is how it begins to start building confidence. Doing things that are uncomfortable or unfamiliar for you, doing something you've never done before. This is part of the process. What else? So you notice that, I have one more piece on that. I don't think here's your question on the confidence piece. Would you date you? Patty laughs. Would you date you? So look into your mirror of yourself, with yourself, would I date me? And see what comes back. And you might find there's a few things that you need to get ready before you actually meet somebody. Or you want to can be in the game maybe, but there's some things that are important for you now. So, Patty, you laughed. I'm going to pick on you then. What made you laugh about would you date you?
Well, up until probably a few months ago, if not a month ago, I would probably said no. However, it feels like I have awakened in the last month with dating this man, because we're both Gemini sun and Aries moon. And it's like, wow, I've never met anyone like this ever. So it has really inspired me. And when I look in the mirror, I go, yeah, I'd date you. You're fun. You're alive. You know, you love life. You're out there engaging in things. I've now started an improv class, which I was like totally like, oh man. And I was like, I just got to commit to it because I love improv. And there I go. And the first class was totally amazing. Totally amazing.
So,
And
let me ask you a question since I know you. A year ago, would you date you?
oh no, there is no way. Stop laughing. Stop
So,
laughing.
I know you didn't have this class a year ago and you know go, well, I'm going to get ready and I'm going to do all these things, but there were things that you wanted to put into your life.
Yes.
And now you got to a place where you're pretty great.
And I know I'm pretty great. A lot of those things that I wanted a year ago are now in place,
Nice.
you know? So yeah, it's been huge.
Okay. And were there any thoughts in your head, negative thoughts,
About,
dating?
oh, then
No,
or
now.
now?
Like, so you meet somebody and then what happens?
Oh, well, it's like, what's next? It's like, you know, about commitment or, a real relationship and working into that instead of like jumping into it like I've done in the past, and then try to figure out, the relationship piece or the connection piece, and then being disappointed because it's not there, because it was never established. And that's what's going on now, is that we're establishing a relationship, the connection.
Right.
So it's a little different. So I have to be patient.
So you have the would I date me now, and you start putting all those things in place, and then you
Yes.
meet somebody, and then there's a whole nother layer of getting ready.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah. All right, so that's another piece. Confidence, building your confidence by asking yourself, would you date yourself? And then, well, no, I'd want to have this, that, and the other set up or in place before I did.
Right.
And then, as you noticed, I referred to the divine dating blueprint. And so what does the divine have to do with it? Right?
Hmm.
A choice. So not everybody is going to like that, but you're here, so I'm going to say that you probably do.
Yeah.
That I learned this from somebody about a year ago, a man that I talked to who gave me an intuitive reading. And I wanted to ask about relationships. And he said, I didn't get married until I was 60. I said, really? Wow. How did you meet? We met online. She was this third person that I even talked to, and I knew it immediately.
Yeah.
And she said, but I did other dating. I met people other ways, but I had been doing some dating, but I've just never met that person. And he said, let me give you a prayer to pray. Dear God, or however works for you, if this is the right person for me, let them come forward. And if they're not, let them go away. I have used that so many times, you know, particularly at all different places. You know, maybe I'm just meeting them, or even before I've even met them, I say this prayer. I ask the divine to come into my dating. I think bringing spiritual and divine practices into our dating process is the thing that I was missing. I mean, I will tell you, I dated 2 atheists, spiritual Jan, you know, like that's my whole life. And I'm like, why did I pulled in 2 atheists. I actually dated these people for a period of time. And somehow, why did I step over that they were atheists? And then it became glaringly obvious they weren't for me. And it came down to something about my beliefs versus their beliefs. And that was the defining moment where we went our separate ways. But I had to stop and ask myself, why did I pull in 2 atheists in a row when I'm consider myself a very spiritual person? And I didn't have the answer to that question until one day, I was in a mastermind group, and we did buddies, you know, to meet other people in the mastermind. And she offered to give, the other person offered, my buddy, to give me a coaching session, which we're talking about business. But how did this get into the conversation? I'm not sure, but all of a sudden in this conversation with her about my business, I shared about the 2 atheists. And then I realized that when my husband died, I got mad at God. I was pissed. I was just pissed. I didn't know I was pissed because, you know, that's not appropriate to be pissed at God. But silently, I was really mad about it. We had a good thing going, and why? Why is not a useful question, I understand. Yet I looked and I broke my connection in bringing the divine in that moment. And so dating is a wake-up call. I mean, even dating 2 atheists woke me up. Sometimes dating is a healing opportunity. I've had my heart broken. Youch. And each time I've had my heart broken, it took me deeper into my spiritual journey. I learned something about me spiritually that if that heartbreak hadn't happened, I wouldn't have gone to the next level in my own personal path. So inner alignment is important for you with your higher power to be in check. If that's something you want in a partner, you want to work on that connection for yourself. That's part of getting ready, part of awakening, part of remembering. Yeah, I thought I was pretty spiritual, you know, I kind of like took it for granted all of a sudden until I realized that needs an up leveling, Jan. Up your game there. And what else is possible if I do? You know, that was really the question, is that I got to see there was something more possible if I considered bringing the divine. So my goal is, you know, in a partner is to attract my divine counterpart. That's how soulmate is a great term, but a friend of mine gave me this divine counterpart and I really liked it. So does that mean we would believe exactly the same? Not necessarily, but we would have inner alignment. Our inner alignment would be a good match. And just remember that everybody is a learning opportunity. May not know on the first date if you have inner alignment with somebody. So just trust, when you get the clarity, you gain the clarity you need, you get the focus, you start building the confidence, and then you get the inner alignment with yourself and your higher power in check. Chances are in the future, you will start meeting people and you'll know right off the get-go, something wasn't vibing, a little off. Maybe you give it another coffee date or a lunch or a dinner. Just test it out, see how you're feeling. It's all vibration. And so you learn to trust your inner soul, your inner vibration. Your energy is my energy and your energy a match. Chemistry makes a mess of everything.
Oh, God.
I mean, you want the chemistry, but then by golly, it can just make you into what my friend calls trance stupid. I mean, meet somebody she got that great chemistry with, woo! Throw out all the
That's stupid.
notes and the journals and I gotta have this, and then something else takes over, and then all of a sudden you're like, where am I? So that was missing for me in having somebody to talk to about it. So another reason I wanted to create a group of support, a body of support. And so these are the three things that I wanted to focus on today. Just teach, helping us to start the journey by getting clear about what I want. What do I want now? Today, I'm different. Would I date me? What's my list? If I were going to date me and be attracted to someone else and feel good in my skin, well, maybe there's something I need to update, up level, take to the next level. And then inner alignments. What are my practices? Am I tuning in? Am I asking Spirit to guide me? These are three things that you could start right now, today, and start to apply. So questions, comments, anything about that? What'd you notice? Dan, what'd you notice? Oh, Ted raised his hand. I like to pick on people I know. Ted, thanks. What would you like to say?
Well, I'm just reconnecting with the way you view life. The more you talk, first of all, this is a third anniversary of my wife's death. So I'm still learning what TED is about, because for 60 years it was us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I've also, as I'm exploring things, I really think about the connections and the vibrations and the things that just happen. And so that really resonates with me. So I'll be really interested to see what develops from this group or project that you have. Yeah, so I think it was sort of divine happening that I got an email from you, or yeah, it was yeah,
Absolutely, Yvonne. And that it was today.
and it was today. And I'm still, at first it was, find a partner, find somebody to do adventures with, and I'm still able to be physically and mentally alert and active and all of those sorts of things. But I'm thinking that the most important thing is finding who Ted is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. You said it quite well. Exactly. In my journey, I didn't know who I was anymore. I mean, I had been something else before as a couple that I didn't feel anymore. It wasn't true. I mean, everything changed, and I didn't know who I was either. Still learning. So, thank you. Dorothy, thank you.
I'm glad you brought up that you dated the two atheists, because I think that's what I did, is I just went clear to the far left, because everybody asked me, how are you dating him? He's not anything you've ever said you wanted. And so I did, but I learned a lot about myself.
Mhm.
And he challenged every single one of my boundaries. But I always was up in the middle of the night or 1 or 2 in the morning journaling, and I believe in source. And yeah, I like myself a lot better now than I was the person before I started dating him. So I guess I need to give credit to myself and to him that I'm still okay. I'm still moving forward. So thank you for bringing that. And you also, I had not brought back, because the breakup hasn't even been 4 months, but the way it happened was so, I'm going to use the word freaky because it was actually supernatural. The breakup was, and I got 2 messages, um, spiritual messages within 4 days afterwards that I had been rescued. And I would sit and journal. I'm like, well, what am I rescued from? And what am I rescued to? But anyway, thank you today. I needed to hear, to invite that. I liked your prayer to invite, um, the spiritual control back in, because I had started to not trust myself, but I'm going to trust myself now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. All right, well, I will just start to close for now, but a couple of things. I am hosting a class, a master class for Divine Dating Blueprint that'll start April the 3rd. Yeah, right, April 3rd. And I didn't know what to charge for. It's going to be 4 weekly calls, once a week for 4 weeks, starting on the 3rd. And the week after the 3rd, there'll be a break because that's the week that I do the Sacred Synchronicity Circle, and you're all invited to that. If you join the class, you'll be part of that group. The Sacred Synchronicity Circle is just a loving group of people. We always come together with a topic, and you just leave feeling better than when you got there. So there's no agenda. It's just a beautiful evolution of people coming together. And it's not specific to dating. But anyway, there'll be 4 classes. I'm going to include, as part of the package, a session with me. So one session with me is very transformational. You can ask anybody that's had one. I'm intuitive, highly intuitive, and I have a lot of spiritual gifts. I can see, hear, and feel things that other people don't necessarily feel or hear or see. And that can help you in your journey. So that'll be part of it. You can have one of those. And then I have those that did the strategic attraction plan. I have rebirthed it, reworked it to the Divine Dating Blueprint, and I have a book for you. It's only 7 pages, I think, but you'll have that, and you can use that like a workbook at home. And I'm going to give if this comes together, I'll probably start a community just for dating. That would be once a month. You'll have that for 3 months at no charge. In the meantime, until that gets going, once, classes evolve and I see who's interested, the Sacred Synchronicity Circle would be part of it. So the angels gave me this number for the charge. It's 222. If you believe in angel numbers, you can Google that one, 222. It's all about harmony and love and good things. It's a good number. It's only 222 for all of that. And I have an email that will come to you, and you can click on that and hop in. I am doing an encore of this call on Saturday. You can come back. Who knows what'll come out of my mouth on that day, but some will be different, some will be the same. But it'll be at the same time as today and the same Zoom link. But I'm sending all of that to you in an email after our call. And there will be a replay. So anyway, just let all this sink in. See if the master class feels like a good place for you. feel free to reach out to me, ask questions. I'd love to speak with you further if you have that or need some support to ask more questions. But with that, I'm just going to say thank you very much for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you, Dan.
Love you lots and good
Yeah,
luck
thank
on
you. Thank you.
your love.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jen.
Jen.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mhm.